Okay, so now let's move on to the story for today from something you forgot along the way. And today's story is number 8, page 23.
Take him the money now. Show appreciation immediately. A very wealthy man who suffered from a hopeless illness began miraculously to improve. When he was nearly well, he summoned his steward and ordered him to take $10,000 to the physician with his deepest thanks. The steward protested. Why now, sir? Why not wait until you have made a full recovery? No, I want it done right now. When I was in despair of my life, I thought with all my heart that if he only cured me, I would gladly give him all I owned. Then, once the crisis was over, I changed my mind. Nobody does a foolish thing like that, I told myself. First, I decided half would be plenty, then a third. My attachment to my possessions grew and grew. It's a physician's job to heal the sick, I thought. Nothing extraordinary about that. People die all the time anyway, despite receiving the best care. So, if I do get well, who could say it was his doing? It began to seem that making some outsized gift to him would only make me look ridiculous. If I wait until I'm fully recovered, I'll end up refusing to pay him a red cent. I'm likely to let my bill go unpaid until he insists, just so I can squeeze out all the interest possible. I don't want to turn into such an ingrate, even though I'm still bedridden. Take him the money now. When we ask for someone for a job or another favor, we are generous with smiles and flattery. We are positive at the time that we'll never forget how much we owe him or her. But as time goes by, gratitude fades to indifference. People who offer sincere thanks to benefactors will succeed. Those who forget others' kindness will lose their reputation. So the story today talks about the fleeting nature of our convictions. It's very difficult to practice the paramita of discipline, keeping promises. Uh, the story illustrates how uh, our minds change and our desire to do good erodes very quickly. We might be inspired to do some kind of kindness or show some kind of gratitude due to the circumstances of the moment. As this man finds himself ill, deathly ill, he's willing to part with everything he has in that moment. But as he starts to improve, his conditions change, uh, that wanes. And all of his kingdom for his health is reduced to half, is reduced to a third, is reduced to whatever, little at a time. Uh, he's uh, he's rationalizing that his gratitude doesn't have to be that big. When at one point it was everything he had. So it's best to show our kindness and show our appreciation when we're feeling it. It's certainly easier to do it that way. Um, when we don't feel like we need to be grateful, it's very, very difficult. And we're likely to just put it aside, even though that's the time when we should really show our gratitude. When it's difficult to give, that's the time when it's the most virtuous to give. That's the time when we are most in touch with our true selves and the nature of our giving if we pay attention. It's very revelatory. When we feel that we must and we feel compelled, it's also a good time to give. Something about feeling gratitude. When you feel it, it's time to pay it forward. And when we don't feel it, if our circumstances are dire, then it's time to reflect on why things are the way they are, what got us to that point where things seem so bleak. Because my causes, my effects. The law of cause and effect says that we produce whatever it is that we plant. So if we are planting good seeds, we will have a good harvest. If we plant bad seeds, then we need to reap the consequences. So when things are good, show gratitude. When things are difficult, practice self-reflection. And when conditions warrant that we show gratitude, when we feel compelled, that's a good time to just strike out and do it. If we wait, we're liable to change our minds. It's our nature. Things are impermanent, and one of the most impermanent things are our thoughts and our convictions. So, sticking to our guns, practicing that discipline of keeping promises that we make even to ourselves. Like this man, he said in his mind, if he could only cure me, I'll give him everything I have. Well, that was a promise that he couldn't keep. But at the point where he realized that he must keep his promise at some point to some degree, that was a little bit closer to enlightenment. When he says, "Take him the money now," uh, I think I think the man had realized how his fleeting mind, how his changing mind is preventing him from showing his gratitude, and perhaps he was just that little bit more closer to enlightenment. So that's what I get from our story today.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Rick, for reading and explaining the story for us. So, yeah, have a good evening, and maybe some people might be listening to this in the future. So, today is Friday. We're going to have the advanced group session for people who have finished the basic course. It will be 6 p.m. Pacific time, and we have questions on Ichantika. Okay, so have a good one. Thank you, Rick. Bye.
All right.